Folks, we just got a huge XRP Ledger investment, and the timing of this couldn't be more ironic. We're not talking about memes. I know that's the talk of the town. This is not a meme coin investment in the XRP Ledger, even though we're getting a lot of that. This is the first of its kind tokenized private equity and debt fund. This is going to be $1 billion fund, first of its kind, coming to the XRP Ledger. Before we get there, I want to talk about gold and silver just smashing through. Gold smashing all-time highs, silver breaking $35. We got to talk about that. I want to show you what Chris and Brad have been up to, and then we're going to give you a quick lawsuit update. Let's get right on into it, folks. This is going to be a big one. Check it out. So right now, we're going to start off here. This is what's happening on the ground. Despite gold smashing through 2,740, despite silver breaking through $35 per ounce, gold and silver investors might find this interesting from Adam Taggart. I just got off the phone with a veteran gold dealer shop owner. Despite gold rising to an all-time high this year and silver's recent surge to $35 per ounce, he's not seen any boost in buying enthusiasm from the general public. Premiums on precious metals are low right now due to this lackluster demand. Sounds like an opportunity to me. Links up down below. In fact, his customers are net sellers. He says the only movement he's seen is that maybe the ratio earlier this year of 5 sellers for every 1 buyer has now decreased to 3 sellers to 1 buyer. So 3 times as much selling pressure from retail versus the buying demand. So this, has gotten a little bit better, but once again, retail buyers are not showing up. Retail is net sellers right now. So interesting. These sellers mostly fall into the following categories. 1, bitter folks who bought back in 2012 who have been waiting to get back to even, nominally speaking. Loose hand investors who have enjoyed a nice short-term return and simply want to pocket the profit. 3, people who need the money. And I get that. So if the bull market indeed runs higher from here, he thinks we're still in the early innings of it. The general buying public doesn't get involved until the final inning or two. Just like with the meme coins, right? Everybody piles in right at the end, right as it's about to dump. Unfortunately, that might be the thing here, right? Folks missed $2,100 gold. Oh, this is the new all-time high. Maybe I should just sit back. And by the way, investors that missed gold, that's myself included. I'm kicking myself. 2,200, 2,300, 24, 25, 26, $2,700 per ounce gold. And at $3,000 per ounce gold, I'm still going to be sitting here like, dang, I missed it. But what's interesting about this is that this is an institutional level acquisition moment. That's what this is. This is institutional central bank, smart money, sophisticated investors who get it, who see it. Yes, gold plays a role in the reset, restructure, revaluation. Yes, silver's needed, and it's going to be even needed even more so with Green New Deals and etc. Currently, his store has few customers per day, and most transactions are done by appointment. He contrasts this with the early 1980s gold run, when he'd arrive at the shop to find a line outside the door stretching around the block. In those days, he'd had to let the sellers in first so that he'd then have inventory for the buyers to purchase. So see, this is not a retail craze. Retail's taking advantage. Big money, institutional money, central banks are swooping it up. They're swooping it up right now. So it's going to be an interesting dynamic to watch here. See what happens with gold and silver. I want to get your guys' predictions down below. Where do gold and silver finish off this year? Let's just look over the next few months. And what's your outlook for gold and silver by, say, 2030? Over the next 5 to 6 years, where do you got gold and silver going? Drop it in the comments down below, and the links are down below in the description. If you guys are looking to get precious metals, we can help roll over a 401k retirement account or deliver directly to your door. Brad Garlinghouse with the official endorsement of John Deaton for Senate, which I wish we would have gotten this a little bit sooner, but hey, better late than never. John Deaton has been a relentless advocate for the XRP army, aka the XRP family, and the entire cryptocurrency industry. Meanwhile, his opponent, Senator Warren, spreads misinformation and lies about crypto. Absolutely. I endorse John enthusiastically and wholeheartedly in his run for Senate. For those of you in a position to do so, I encourage you to donate to his campaign, as I have. It all counts. And most importantly, vote for him if you're in Massachusetts. So, speaking of donations, we've been watching, right? Chris Larson, another $10 million worth of XRP to Kamala. Kamala. I'm trying to get the pronunciation correct for everybody out there. Kamala gets another $10 million worth of XRP from Chris. I reminded everybody, though, Stuart Alderati donated to Trump. Ripple has donated to Fairshake. And I want to give a shout out to my good friend Johnny. He's in our Discord group. We were talking about this in our Discord group, and Fairshake, they've donated to candidates from both sides of the aisle. So folks that are getting all worked up about Chris donating to Kamala or, Stu donating to Trump, these are individuals, right? And I'm going to show you guys what Chris Larson had to say to the Fed today. And it's really interesting because I think that Chris Larson, I really think that this was marketing. After listening to Chris Larson speak about taking out Elizabeth Warren and Gary Gensler's reign being over, I'll show you the clip here shortly. I believe that this was a marketing stunt more so than even before. I already thought, I've already said that this was simply just a hedge. Chris has money to blow. He's throwing it and it gets attention. I think that it is effective. But back to the point, Brad Garlinghouse as an individual here, he's supporting John Dean, and we love to see it. Ripple remains neutral. These guys can do what they want with their money. That's how this country works. Now, in regards to Chris Larson, I was joking about it earlier. We had the appellate court, the second district court of appeals, put out a notice saying basically that Chris Larson was late on filing his notice of appearance here. Well, I joked. I said, Chris Larson doesn't care about filing. He doesn't care about this appeal. He's just going to send another $10 million to Kamala, right? So Chris Larson ain't got time to show up for the appeal. He's just going to buy his way out of this thing. And I'm kind of joking, kind of not, right? But Chris Larson has finally showed up here with his lawyer, Matthew Solomon, and they have filed their notice to appeal. And a huge shout out to Cherry Empress 21 here on X, one of the lawyers keeping us up to date here. And she says that now everything is back on track for this. And apparently the appeal notice from Ripple is going to be due by October 24th. So here in just 2 days here, and that looks like midnight, basically midnight Eastern here in 2 days on, what's that? 2 days, October 24th. Okay. So basically everything is back on schedule. The whole, were they late? Were they early? The notice that came out this morning was basically the court saying, Chris, you're late, but we'll give you another 14 days. Chris took only a few hours for the lawyers to finally get it sent over. But Chris has been busy. Chris and Brad both went to go speak at the Fed. Well, Brad Garlinghouse showed up in person. Chris Larson tapped in via Zoom. But I want you to listen to this clip here. He says, the good news is I think we're on the twilight of Gary Gensler's reign of terror. Listen in.
Basically can't sell into the U.S. market even now because U.S. companies are like, well, the SEC is appealing. And, they don't understand exactly what the SEC is appealing, but it just is, it's a reason to say, no, we don't want to fight that fight right now. We'll wait and see what happens.
Yeah. I'll just add, very clearly, I think the approach that Gary Gensler pretty much directed, let's just call it who was behind it.
His audio, for some reason, is a little crappy, so I apologize for that.
Senator Warren, I think, was on a mission. She's literally called this the war on crypto. Was on a mission pretty much to destroy the industry, to hobble the U.S. industry by using regulation by enforcement rather than creating clear rules of the road. And what the industry.
And now, how can this guy send $11 million of donations? Well, actually, I think it's even more. How can this guy send tens of millions of dollars of donations to Kamala's campaign, saying what he just said about Elizabeth Warren, who's been the champion of the Democrats against cryptocurrency? Maybe we got to tuck this one into the All the World's a Stage file as well.
Industry has always asked for is like, just make the rules clear. Just tell us exactly what those rules are. We want those clear rules, and the industry can thrive, consumers can be protected. That's not the approach they took, I think, on purpose, because the attacking the industry on these are all securities, it never made any sense. These are not securities. They don't have rights and privileges. The developing teams that made them don't have obligations. It fits the commodity model fundamentally, and I think they know that. But again, I think it was an attack on the industry to hobble it. Now, what was the effect of that? It just empowered a bunch of sketchier, overseas firms like FTX, which turned out to be a total disaster. So net on net, you didn't protect consumers. You hobbled the U.S. You empowered, industries in Singapore, in London. You didn't create any jobs in Ohio, for example. So it didn't make any sense. And the good news is I think we're at the twilight of Gary Gensler's reign of terror. It's just about over. And I think whoever wins this election, it's going to be a fundamentally different thing.
Whoever wins this election is going to be a fundamentally different thing. And you could see the smile on Brad Garlinghouse's face. See, these guys behind closed doors, I'm telling you, it's a completely different deal. You get to having a couple adult beverages with Brad and Chris behind closed doors. You get to go watch Brad and Chris meet with the IMF, BIS, all these other institutions behind closed doors. It's a different conversation. And Gary Gensler's irrelevance is spoken of, I think, behind closed doors. Right? Basically, we have an understanding behind closed doors that these are commodities, or at least not securities in and of themselves. Are we going to come up with a new term, a new definition, a new rule of the road? Well, that's what we've been asking for, but we definitely know it's not a security in and of itself. We've proven that. And I just found that last statement so interesting from Chris Larson. No matter who becomes president, it's going to be a different deal. And it sure is. And I think that Ripple's positioned perfectly for that. Now, in regards to the title of today's call here, today's video, I should say, the huge investment that we just got here in the XRP Ledger, guys, this is a massive one. Check it out. $1 billion tokenized fund for data center investments on the XRP Ledger with Zonix. Real world asset tokenization is here big time. Vet says big time. That's why I titled it huge. It's a huge XRP Ledger investment. This ain't a little one. This ain't a meme. This ain't a joke. Real world asset tokenization is here big time. The efficient, fast, and reliable value moving XRP Ledger is the MVP. Believe in something. And I tell you what, we've been believing that these institutions are going to show up, and this is massive, massive proof. Now, this is actually my second time recording this video. I recorded this video. I was actually out and about. I recorded a video in my truck when this news first came out. One of the things that I pointed out was Cowboy Crypto, one of our Twitter sleuths. He had found a connection between Jay Clayton that actually had purchased the Aurum, this firm, this private equity firm. Come back to find out that that wasn't true. So here I am shooting this video for a second time because I wanted to retract the statements, because I made a statement about how the heck, add this one to the All the World's a Stage file, Jay Clayton's firm, Apollo Management, had actually purchased a firm called Aurum, but that was a different Aurum. So we got them mixed up. So here I am fact checking myself and shooting a second video to make this clear. But I'm going to show you why this is a massive, massive deal. Not only is CoinDesk covering this, like I said, this is the XRP go viral moment. I'm going to show you where this partnership really originated from back in February of 2024. This is the Q1 2024 markets report where they highlight. They say XRP Ledger integrations. They talk about Gensler bringing in integration for 55 different blockchains to the XRP Ledger. That sounds good. In addition, Zonix announced its plans to streamline the tokenization process for real-world assets with its integration of the XRP Ledger, and Orchestra Finance went live on mainnet. See, it's just one thing after another. We slide on over to this press release, which was put out February 23rd, 2024. This is Zonix announcing the partnership here with Ripple, but this is their this strategic collaboration harnesses the robust, scalable infrastructure of the XRP Ledger and seamlessly integrates it with Zonix cutting-edge tokenization platform as a service. And so that's the TPAAS acronym, tokenization platform as a service. So think of software as a service, but this is a tokenization platform. And tokenization lifecycle management, TALM solutions. Tokenization improves access to an asset class by reducing traditional barriers to entry, lowering cost, and eliminating geographical boundaries. This is a $1 billion first of its kind combined private equity and debt tokenization project here. Now, this is going to be a vehicle that will focus on data center investments across the United States, UAE, Saudi Arabia, India, and Europe. World's first combined equity and debt tokenized fund. Now, I went to pull the data on real world assets that are tokenized right now. As of the end of 2023, the number was 5 billion. If you look at BlackRock, they're touting, I think, almost $500 million in their, I forget what the ticker symbol is, but it's their tokenized treasury fund. And they've amassed about 400 or 500 million so far in that. Now, cumulatively, we're at about 5 billion plus at the end of 2023. So I'm sure that number's bigger by now. But the point being, we have one institution, one private equity firm decides to bring in, basically 20%, 1/5 of the total addressable, not the total addressable, the addressable market's huge. The on-chain numbers that we have is 5 billion. Well, in one deal here, we're going to move, 20% or 1/5 of what we've achieved so far is coming onto the XRP ledger with one deal, one firm. And this is what we've been talking about, is the scale at which these private equity firms, institutions, banks can come into the XRP ledger ecosystem with a, hold up, I know folks don't like it when I use this word, especially if XRP price hasn't gone up. I don't know what XRP price is at right now, but I can tell you that this is a flip of the switch moment. I know folks don't get how you can have a flip of the switch moment that doesn't lead to price action today, but is going to lead to it down the road. And that's what's getting set up right now here. So once again, this ain't, it's just hilarious, the timing of this. With the big meme coin craze and all this silly activity coming to the XRP ledger. And then you look at the other side here and we got real private equity firms showing up with $1 billion to invest in a first of its kind tokenized private equity and debt fund. Absolutely massive. And just like with so many of these utilities and amendment with the XRP ledger, we were late. We were late to NFTs. We were late to AMM. We were late to meme coins. Not really. You could have issued a meme coin on the XRP ledger back in 2012, just to set the record straight. We had the first DEX. You could issue a token all the way back then. So technically, we could have had memes back then. It's just memes didn't get popular till now. But the point being, we're late to all these things, but we're doing them better. Layer 1, completely decentralized, unlike the Uniswap AMM, which is about to get sued. Our AMM is on the layer 1, completely decentralized. Same thing here taking place is we're doing it bigger and we're doing it better, right? So this one's going to be $1 billion brought on chain, just like that. Flip the switch, one firm. We know that Ripple has 400 plus bank institutional partners. Maybe they want to bring on a couple billion too. Maybe they're going to bring in a couple trillion. Once again, when you look at the conservative estimates on tokenization of real world assets over the next, basically, if you just go till 2030, the predictions range from $5 to $40 trillion getting tokenized between now and 2030. So there's a little bit of opportunity there. The XRP ledger is absolutely prime, and you're starting to see it. We've been waiting for it. Here it is. Memes on the XRP ledger. Maybe some of you guys have been waiting for that. Have some fun. Tokenization of real world assets by some of the biggest private equity firms and institutions and banks in the world. That's showing up too. Perfectly played here. We're sitting back watching this thing play out, and we're watching the institutions come to us, come to this chain. And I think that this party's just getting started. You guys let me know in the comments down below. I'm going to wrap up this one. Make sure we smack it, tap it on the way out for me. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell. All of our community resources are available at zachrector.com, and I really appreciate you. God bless you all. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.